Primarily, this chapter 8, currently in the Nash book, focuses on how healthcare professionals can influence the health behaviors of those that they're serving. So that'll be the bulk of this PowerPoint. There is one model or theory on the end of the chapter that talks about how you can evaluate healthcare programs or initiatives, but I won't be covering that in this PowerPoint. As we've already mentioned in this class, for the amount of money that our country spends on healthcare, it's unfortunate that we have so many chronic diseases and conditions that are still largely preventable. So it all comes down to this issue of who should be responsible for that statistic. Is it the responsibility of the healthcare professionals, or is it the responsibility of the populations we serve? You can read in the notes section there, but I would suggest that it is both, that it takes the combined effort of both the professionals as well as the patients and the families in order to improve population health. It is very likely that you are quite familiar with the health belief model as a tool to help healthcare professionals try to influence the behaviors of those that we serve. Part of it is dependent on listening carefully and picking up the body language and just understanding in our patients what is their perceived susceptibility to a risk to their health. Do they consider it severe or not severe? That can influence their motivation to do anything about it. Secondly, what do they perceive to be the benefits if they were to use their resources and make a change in their health behaviors? And how large are the barriers, and what are the barriers that are standing in their way of changing their behaviors? All of those come together to determine the timing and the scope of action that they're going to take to change their health behaviors. This theory is similar to the health belief model, but it brings in a couple of new things. One is that the most important thing is what is their attitude towards the behaviors that they currently have or those that they might desire. And it suggests here that this has also been influenced by their social environment, by family and friends close to them. And it has been influenced by previous attempts at changing behavior, which would increase or decrease their perceived likely, what they would perceive as the likely outcome that a change in behavior at this point would make any difference. Again, I suspect that you are familiar with the trans-theoretical model of behavior change. You can see in the graphic that there are stages. Sometimes a person works through these stages steadily. More often, they probably do a halt and then make some progress and then halt again, or they may exit this cycle and then come back and re-enter later. The important thing is to understand that behavior change doesn't occur quickly all at one time, but that a person goes through a series of stages. So the next 3 slides are going to just explain each of those stages. I'm shifting gears now to 4 PowerPoint slides that go through 10 processes of change. These processes of change are the experiences or the behaviors that people go through when they are making an important health behavior change. And the reason we present them to you, because of course the focus here is on you as advanced practice nurse students, is that we believe that this can help you to apply the right strategy at the right time for motivating positive behavior change. So this is the last of the slides on the 10 processes. I hope as you read them and considered them, you found them practical enough and objective enough to be able to use some of these ideas in your own clinical practice. So returning to the trans-theoretical model of behavior change, we consider what we call core constructs. Core constructs are that sense of yourself that is guiding your behavior, your thoughts, your actions, and it's like at the core of your being. So what's suggested in this slide is that there are three things here. One is the balance, the decisional balance, weighing the pros and cons of changing a behavior. The second is the situation-specific confidence that they have, that they could cope with high-risk situations without falling back into their old behaviors and habits. And the third is whether they have a plan, whether they have a way that they could resist the temptation or the urges to move back to old behaviors again. And what I've done is I've put a link in the notes section for some addiction recovery success stories. I would suggest that when we're talking about self-efficacy and temptation, one of the most positive things for any of us, because we all deal with this, is hearing the stories of other people who have made it through and who have had a similar challenge in their life and have made significant changes and then have kept those changes over a period of time without relapse. So you might enjoy poking in and listening to a couple of those stories at that URL below.